Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Expert Insights, joined here by Ms. Sue Woodard.
Hey everybody, I'm doing good.
What are we talking about today?
Today we're talking about purpose versus proof, right? And there was some reading I was doing. I shared with you over the weekend. I was reading our buddy James Robert Lay's book, Banking on Digital Growth. Really fascinating read. And one of the things that he was talking about, it's a great book, like really just great, impactful read. Everybody in
really
financial services should read it.
well.
Absolutely. But what he talked about is without action, your purpose is just branding. So you can talk about this is our purpose, but until you put action behind that and create an experience that really resonates physically and emotionally with someone, all of your talk about your purpose, it's just noise.
So
right?
let's talk about that in a little more depth, because I think really ultimately what you're saying, and I believe this as well, is people are going to remember more about what you do than just what you say.
That's right.
And so think about all of the advertising, and we were talking about one of our favorite cable/internet providers who has amazing branding and advertising, but when it comes time to interact with them, it's a very different experience.
Yes.
And so I know our loyalty to that organization is not going to be very high.
Well, you think about it. We were talking about, I see these commercials where like literally I want to like jump inside the commercial and be one of those people because they look so like just everything looks wonderful and seamless and they look so loved. And then when I saw who it was, I was like, but I know the truth of that brand. And you compare that with somebody, like Delta, who we're not getting to visit enough, right now, of course, totally different deal where their purpose,
consistent.
and it's you, and you feel it, it shows up in the actions that they take. And that's all the difference.
So I think it's really important, obviously, as a company, as a brand in this industry, to talk about your why and talk about your purpose. And I think people want to connect with that. But you have to make sure that when you start to actually go back and forth and communicate with that customer, potential customer, or member if you're on the credit union side, that they're actually getting that type of a result from you. They're getting those types of interactions.
Right. And I think it's important, I think about, the great professionals that we talk to in marketing. And I think, it's really checking in to make sure that when you're crafting all these beautiful things that are talking about your purpose and your vision and your values, compare that with the surveys that you're actually getting from your customers and saying, hey, is that tying through? Is the experience that they're having resonating with what we're saying our purpose and our values are?
And so this is one of these areas where a disconnect between your sales and your marketing organization, and we talk about that all the time on how it's so important to have sales and marketing really closely aligned and really orchestrate those two things. So this really is a scenario where if you have great messaging, your purpose is clear, it's meaningful, and you're out there, but you've got your sales team, your customer-facing people that are engaging with the customer that are way off message, way off brand, and not delivering that, you are not going to accomplish what you set out to do. And the customer is not going to feel the way that you ideally would want them to.
Yes. And it's just a disconnect, right? It makes it a very discordant experience. And so I think that's one of the biggest things that people can be doing right now is I think there's a lot of people paying attention to their brand. How are we showing up? We have to show up right on social and on digital and, do all these things, all the commercials and billboards.
But how are you carrying it all the way through?
But how does it actually happen,
So obviously it goes into, we talk a lot about customer journeys, but purpose versus proof, having a great purpose as a brand, but then proving that out with the interactions, all of the touch points, you have to do that.
Spot on. So I think the action item for people listening is do some checking, do some checking. Your advertising versus, survey. I'm sure most people are surveying their customers, but really survey and make sure that those things are in alignment. Otherwise, you might be missing the action that really creates that.
People are going to ultimately remember what you do more than what you said.